and analyst covering the Gulf. Nabeel, thank you so much for your time. First of all, have you got any news about any potential response to the ceasefire from the Houthi side?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, the Houthis have submitted their letter to the UN Secretary General's envoy to Yemen, Martin Griffith, and they requested to have a full ceasefire in Yemen. That would include all fronts, seizing all hostilities in all fronts in Yemen, plus also opening the airspace and the airports, seaports around the country. And also they expressed their willingness to enter into a comprehensive political process with all the Yemeni parties that will hopefully result in a transitional period that will end the current war in Yemen. Well,
has anything changed? Sorry, Nabeel, has anything changed over the past few weeks or months to make you think that actually this time there could be some concrete result that would come out of any potential negotiations?
Well, we need to understand that the Saudi Arabia wants out of Yemen, even before the coronavirus. So we have seen indicators of the Saudis' desire to go out of Yemen, like in the last quarter of last year. There has been negotiations between Saudi Arabia and the Houthis directly, whether in Oman or in Jordan. However, Saudi Arabia has been looking for a safe-facing excuse to end the war in Yemen, or to end its direct involvement in Yemen. The coronavirus may be a valid excuse for Saudi Arabia, and as soon as they find a kind of agreement with the Houthis, the second steps will be, I think, easier. The Yemeni negotiation will be easier if the Saudi Arabia and the Houthis, which are the two main parties in this conflict, agree to have a framework for a resolution in Yemen. Regardless of whether this ceasefire will hold or not, I think the war in Yemen is coming to its end, and I think before the end of this year we will see an end to this war, or at least the Yemeni parties getting together on a negotiation table.
And will the military situation as it stands right now, in terms of the heavy fighting that's been taking place, the Saudi-led coalition says in 2 weeks it's launched more than 370 airstrikes against Houthi rebels. So will the military situation, the front lines, the severity of the fighting, will that make much difference to the negotiations?
Actually, I would argue that any escalation, like the Houthis about a week or 2 weeks ago, they launched missiles against Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia responded with those airstrikes. I think I would argue that these actually actions would help in ending the war than escalating the war. This is just kind of everyone or every party is trying to pressure the other party to the negotiation table. Both parties, and here I mean Saudi Arabia and the Houthis, want to end the war. It's just like to find that kind of an agreement or a framework to end the war in Yemen. Maybe the Hadi government has a different point of view. It's the weakest element, but I don't think that it would matter here. If Saudi Arabia agrees to a political solution, Hadi government, the STC, Southern Transitional Council, will come to the table. And I think before the end of this year, we will see the Yemeni parties on the negotiation table, hopefully, and maybe we'll see a new period in Yemen.
Nabeel, thank you so much indeed for your time. Really appreciate the analysis. Nabeel Nowairah in Washington.